So I'm Greg Baker. I've been living here in Nicaragua off and on for about 13, going on 14 years. I was in the Army for 24 years. I was an infantryman and did several combat tours. Uh, After my Army career, I worked on a program that took me back to the war in Afghanistan for several more tours. And during that time, I started to realize that a lot of my friends and former soldiers were really, some of them were really struggling with depression. They're getting into using some bad coping mechanisms, some fall into depression, addiction, and in the long run, I lost nearly as many of my friends and former soldiers to suicide than I ever did in combat. And I never could really get my head wrapped around why they would do that after we fought so hard to come back home. What could be so bad that would cause it would lead someone to take their own life after doing that? So that was sort of thing that got a ball rolling where I started trying to understand post-traumatic stress disorder and all the things that entails, and along the way got to do some studying about traumatic brain injuries and how that can affect people different ways. And I kind of just got an informal education on what some of the root causes of post-traumatic stress disorder are, and on how people deal with trauma. Um, Several years ago, I figured out the best way that I could summarize the issue was that people were missing having a family, being part of a tribe. You know, we're very tribal people, especially military people, and they're missing having that sense of purpose and mission, and something that they could be passionate or get something that would get their heart rates up. So what it seemed like to me was that I wasn't having those issues because I was still involved in the war even after the military. Plus, I had surfing as and my surfing tribe. So I kind of identified that maybe if we could start giving guys some time with their tribe or a new tribe, give them a mission or help them find a new one, and then give them something they could be passionate about and get excited about. Maybe we could kind of help turn them back around and get them going in a better direction. So uh, on my last tour in Afghanistan, I happened to have met Kelly Lynn and in Kabul. And one day I was kind of sharing this idea with him that I wanted to start bringing some of these veterans down to Nicaragua, where there's plenty of need down here for people to do to help others out. And there's lots of Nicaragua-centric adventures, everything from surfing and fishing to volcano hiking. You know, the sky's the limit. So I thought, okay, if we could do that, bring some of these guys down here, let them have some fun in Nicaragua, and go do some things that are helpful in the local community, along with some of their buddies. Maybe we could kind of get some of these folks kind of going in the right direction again. And as it turned out, I didn't know this, but Kelly already had his nonprofit organization, 22 Shenanigans, that he had started to fund veterans adventure trips back in his home state, Oklahoma. So we were really just talking about picking it up and moving it down here to Nicaragua. And we were pretty close to executing it, and then COVID happened. And it really just derailed our train, and we got put on hold for a long time. But I think that delay may have been good. It gave us time to kind of refine our ideas, and hopefully that led to our first group that we just hosted down here having a better experience than they might have had we gone ahead and done it 4 years ago before COVID. So we just finished with 6 guys, 5 of whom served with me in the Army at different times. One of them went to Ranger School with me 33 years ago. 4 more, we were in Iraq together at various times for 13 to 15 months. And so we all had a lot of history together. And I think that helped with this initial group. It helped us as far as getting the whole thing off the ground, because we already had a little bit, we had that bond. And it was getting to see them again. It was like I'd just seen them yesterday. And I think they felt the same way. So I think based on the feedback, they all had a pretty good time. I I don't think any of them really found Nicaragua the way that to be exactly what they thought it would be. Uh, and I think we had something for everybody, whether it was hanging out at the lake at Playa Mangoes on Isla Ometepe or coming over here and surfing. Some guys was getting shacked out here and just riding motorcycles around and doing food distribution projects. I think there was something there that everybody had fun with, and I think we all enjoyed fishing a lot because we really scored mackerel that day. But yeah, so yeah, you got anything else you want to ask?
That was awesome, Jake.
Okay.
Is there anything you wanted to conclusion you wanted to close with? Any like last words, maybe? What do you see happening in the future?
Yeah. Okay. So now that we've run our pilot group, we'll do just like in the military. You do an after action review and you look back and solicit feedback on the things to sustain and the things to change or get rid of or add. And we're going to regroup, come up, refine the plan, and hopefully in the coming year in 2024, we are hoping to host more groups, possibly up to 10 groups of veterans from various branches of service, and it doesn't necessarily have to be guys who served with me or anything like that. But I think moving forward, we're hopeful that we can get 10 groups down here in the coming year and keep this thing rolling. And what we'll be relying on more than anything is the guys who come down here to let their buddies know about it, because word of mouth and letting people know how the thing went for them is going to probably be more effective than anything else we can do. So, yeah, pretty excited about 2024. And we call this project, unofficially, we called it Fortunate Sons, after the old CCR song, if you're familiar with that, from during the Vietnam era, because, that song was sort of a protest song, but we're not using it as protest. We're saying we were pretty fortunate to get to do what we did. And now we feel even more fortunate we can reach out and help our buddies.
Hello, my name is Michael Lindsay, and I am the founder of Waves of Love, a nonprofit that's been working here in southern Nicaragua since 2010. And since then, we've done a lot of community development, feeding programs, building homes, working with kids, surf classes, and different things like that. But over the past year, through a friend of mine, Greg Baker, who lives up the hill behind me, who is a retired veteran, Army Ranger, served in Iraq and Afghanistan, we have come up with a program to bring veterans down here on adventure trips and give them the opportunity to be free and to be served the way they served us. So we feel completely honored to be able to do this, just to host them, be able to just love on them and give them everything they need, including adventure on a volcanic island in the middle of the lake, surfing, just excellent food and really good times, just digging in to hearts and the souls of everybody. And we're working with this with Kelly Lynn of 22 Shenanigans in Oklahoma, who's also a veteran, and these guys were Army Rangers and just love to give back to the guys that they served with. So we did our first trip last week. We had 6 veterans here, and they were from all over the place, all over the mainland states, one guy from Maui, and a lot of them hadn't seen each other in many, many years. One of them, it's been like 18 years since they've seen each other. And we just had an amazing, amazing time. So this was the first test run of how this would all work, and we just loved it, and we would do it again next week. And it is our goal to continue to serve these veterans at least once a month, have a group of 10 or 12 veterans come down here and do the same thing and be able to be poured into and loved on. And we're doing that through 22 Shenanigans, who raises the funds for all these men or women in the future, women groups to come, and they don't have to pay for anything. They are completely taken care of 100%. So this is what we want to continue to do, and this is an absolute blessing to us and them to be able to just be a part of their lives today and show them that they are truly, truly loved, and that we are very grateful for who they are and what they've given us.
My name is Kenneth Agüera. I'm from Puerto Rico. I joined the Army straight out of Puerto Rico, and I finished 30 years and 29 days of service. And along the way, I was challenged with many things that had to be done in our nation to keep our oath. And as many other veterans, I carry with me some serious scars. And a friend of mine told me about this beautiful place, and by the grace of God, I'm here. And as you can see, I already enjoyed this place enough to have a new hat and new necklace, but I have a new family and friends. Some of us served together in very difficult conditions. Some of them didn't come back. And the coping mechanisms that we find along the way, you know, they all have to do with so many different angles that divert from the one angle that we should all, we will be lucky enough to know that the Holy Spirit manifested itself with Jesus Christ, who died for our sins. And once we understand that and we give ourselves to that, I felt it like 2.5 years ago when I lost my stepfather, and my younger sister was pregnant and he never got to see his granddaughter. I got baptized and I knew I had to change my life. It's giving me strength. I might get emotional, but I'm not a weak person. And I came here with some people that I knew and some that I just met. And this is beautiful. I heard many things along the way from people about religion. I went to different churches with friends just because I was friends with them. And I love to see people gathering to feel love. But I didn't understand, and some of them were different traditions. But besides all that, everything that surrounds us was created by God. And I will never, ever look at life different anymore. And I'm going to leave this place a little sad because it's wonderful. But I'm going to spread more love. I'm going to change certain things that need to get adjusted in my life. I build new relationships in here. This place is a sanctuary. And nobody pushes you to go one way or the other. We have fun. And we talk amongst ourselves without being told what to think. But at the end, it all comes back to the same. God is great. God is love. And some of us can relate to each other. And when we talk, tomorrow when I go home, I'm going to be wearing a shirt of my new friend that lost his son. And he gave me his shirt. I gave him one of my shirts. But now I know the meaning of it. And I'm going to do it for him. I can talk all day, and I don't know. I'm giving this interview not knowing how long I have, or I used to be a command sergeant major in the military, and anybody that knows about us, we talk a lot. I learned how to speak English in the military, and once I learned, it became a hobby, and then I wouldn't shut up. But this is important. So I'm leaving with a heavy heart because I don't want to leave this place. but I'm looking forward to telling my family, use prayer to strengthen myself every day and to help my family get through struggles. We all care about each other, and if anybody asks for help, we're there. But sometimes we get immersed into things from this earth that don't matter, and we get distracted. I'm not gonna let that happen as much as I can anymore. And I really consider this my new family. I look forward to finding the time and any opportunity to share time with them again. It's been beautiful. I've seen a lot of programs with kayaks and fishing and hunting, and that's beautiful work that so many people want to do to help veterans and other people that suffer trauma to get through hardships. But this kind of snuck up on me because I was expecting to get bombarded by one theme or one way, and I didn't. It was just love. And love is all you need. God is love. And I'm not afraid. I got baptized in Puerto Rico recently because I had to go to Puerto Rico and save my mother from a bad situation. And here I am. There's a vehicle going by, like helicopters used to go by when we used to do things in the military. So I'm gonna wrap it up by saying there's nothing but beautiful things that come out of my time in here, and it's gonna multiply many, many more times when I talk to my friends and my family about what I experience here. Every day has been a blessing since I've been here. And I hope that when anybody sees what we experience in here, they don't feel shy about it, especially hardcore war fighters that don't want to be talked to about religion. That's one thing I learned here. It's all gonna be all right, and I'm gonna help. I signed up to be a soldier of God. I used to be a good soldier in another way. This is the best way, and I'm not afraid, and I am saved by the grace of God. I think that's it.
I'm Brandon Burris. I'm a chaplain with the Oklahoma Army National Guard. I deployed with Kelly and Greg back in 2018, and I'm familiar with Kelly's story with 22 Shenanigans, and he had called and requested that I come on this trip. On this trip, I learned that there are hurts that are much deeper than can be seen on the outside. Everything from losing soldiers to losing loved ones. And these guys are doing their best to deal with it every day. So I had no expectations. I got a text message that said, "Hey, can you go to Nicaragua?" And I'm like, "Okay." And that was about all the information that I had. We did get an itinerary, and we did some of the things on the itinerary, but for the most part, it was just we do what the day brings us. And that was a great experience because, well, when you're 27 years in the military, like some of these guys are, hiking up the side of a mountain isn't going to work. So being able to be flexible and to meet the guys where they're at instead of making the guys meet them where Mike and Paula are. I think getting to know the guys. Um, I didn't serve with them, but they very quickly accepted me as a part of them. My deployment wasn't even a traumatic deployment, yet they were still there sharing stories with me and letting me be a part of their experience. And so, my recommendation, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity here. There are people around the United States that love their soldiers, love their first responders, and they're giving to 22 Shenanigans so that people are able to enjoy this experience and take advantage of that. I know it's difficult sometimes to be on the receiving end of grace, but take it. It'll change your life. Kelly and I are pretty good friends, so 22 Shenanigans is built out of the well, it's built out of the heartbreak that he had from losing his brother, and that he realizes that it's not great. It's not a great feeling, and so he's willing to do anything that he can to make sure that other men and women are able to get past that trauma that they have, or they're able to deal with the trauma that they have in a positive way, so that no other family members have got to feel that pain and loss. So one of the things that I really enjoyed, you know, I'm landlocked. I'm from Oklahoma, so there's no surfing in Oklahoma, and I don't get in the water very much. But well, we went to Ometepe Island, and we had a great time there. We were able to ride motorcycles, but probably the one thing that sticks out the most to me on this trip was the um, Waves of Love organization. The Garden of Eden organization provides food to those up in the mountains, and we learned this year that the rainy season came late, and they weren't able to plant. So this mission for Waves of Love, for Garden of Eden, is critical, because these people may not eat if they're not out here helping. So we were able to be a part of that.
My name is Chris Yang. I served in the Army from 2005 to 2009. I was in the 121 Infantry Brigade. So yeah, coming into this trip, I didn't really know what to expect. Probably the most fun part was just, being around the guys again, having that camaraderie. I've kind of missed that. Ever since I got out of the Army, I guess I've been running away from my problems. I've been hiding. I really haven't been. I guess it's from my culture. I don't like to express how I feel or my emotions. I've always hidden it, and being here it really hasn't helped me open up, but it's helping me to see how I've been. So it's probably gonna help me try to look for help and probably talk to somebody about it. Probably tell them to, I don't know, probably be similar to my situation. Just don't expect too much, but when you get here, it's a wonderful place. It's a wonderful experience. It's at home. I don't know, I've been burnt out mentally, tired of work, but coming here, it's made me, I don't know, find myself, I guess, calm myself down. So yeah, it's definitely worth coming. It's a beautiful place. Well, I got connected with Greg Baker, which I'm pretty sure all of us, that's why we all heard about this trip. So 22 Shenanigans is trying to help vets prevent suicide. So yeah, like I said, I've been, pushing my problems down, hiding them, I guess, just ignoring them. But seeing the other guys open up and talk about their situations kind of helped me. Just the hustle and bustle of life, I guess. Just seeing people down here, you guys, this program helping all the locals, it's really inspiring. Just wanted to thank Mike and Paula for having us. You guys are awesome, and thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, so my name is Dwayne Gomes, and I served in the U.S. Army for 20 years. I just retired in November 2020, so I hit my third year mark, and I was, blessed enough to get invited with 22 Shenanigans to with a Wave of Love by one of my former leaders, Greg Baker. So this week, I had no expectations coming here. I didn't know, what to expect first time coming. Costa Rica to, south of the border, first time crossing south of the border. No expectations, and this really helped open doors and take down barriers. Being able to, some of these former leaders and soldiers I haven't seen for 15 years, maybe even more, 15, yeah. So it was a lot decompressed, a lot of war stories we talked about and seeing it from different angles. So there was no expectations. I had no idea what to expect. I just put trust in, my friends, family, and, here I am.
What was your favorite part about the week?
Oh, favorite part about the week, all of it. I mean, really for me, it was surfing, being able to, surf a different part of the Pacific coming from Hawaii. That was really awesome to be able to say I surfed down here. But really just getting back together and talking stories was the favorite part. So 22 Shenanigans, I had, shenanigans, most young kids, and, we know what that is. But prior to coming here, I didn't know anything about 22 Shenanigans. Greg Baker is the one who, introduced me, got me, with Kelly, and found out what 22 Shenanigans, where it stemmed from and what it is now. Never knew them before this, and now I'm greatly in debt to them for allowing me this opportunity, blessing me with this opportunity to come down here and experience what I experienced. Oh, what's going to be different? I mean, I can, we go back to the real world. It's not going to be as relaxed as this and low key. What's going to be different is I get to, not, oh, that's a hard one because there's a lot that's going to change. Just wanting to carry forward with, talking to my fellow veterans and my family, the relationship with my wife, and being able to expand and try to help, 22 Shenanigans and Waves of Love spread the word and have, help more veterans that needs the, retreat that with the battle buddies that we haven't seen in years. So retreat, in the military, we have different types of retreats. We go through many different trainings. We have retreats we do with our spouses for communication skills, team building, things like that. We go on R&R retreats with, soldiers and with ourselves. So the coming here is definitely, we're here in the Garden of Eden, and it's definitely a different place on earth. Being here, like the first day we was here, it seemed like it was, the end of the day, and it was only 2 hours later. Time really ticks by, goes slow here. It's something to experience, definitely. So if you heard about this trip where you wasn't too sure, I'm definitely going to reach out to my former soldiers, leaders, any veteran that I know. Reach out to 22 Shenanigans and Waves of Love. And definitely you need to come to this. It's a week long. Coming here, I was super skeptic. First time crossing a border, I was nervous, but I put faith inside my, former leaders and soldiers and Kelly, and we came down here, met Michael, the rest of the gang, Amaro, Mackie, Paula, and it was a beautiful place down here. Definitely, if, for all you veterans out there looking for that retreat, that R&R getaway, this is the place to come, especially with your battle buddies.
Awesome.
So my name is Andy Field. I served for 4 years in Alpha Company 114 Infantry. I went to Iraq in 2004 and served with several of the guys that were here on the trip this week. And yeah, so that's basically my service. Let's see. You know, I think this trip was particularly special. I mean, it's a beautiful place, wonderful things to do, but I think what really we took from this more than anything was some small time that we could just be together. And I mean, I know it probably sounds a lot like telling war stories, because that's really what it is, but it's connecting with people that understand you and what you've been through on a level that, I mean, I know I hadn't done prior to coming out here. You know, a lot of these guys I haven't seen since I left Hawaii in 2005. So, you know, it's been quite the experience, and something I'm very fortunate to have been a part of. Well, outside of just what I just said, probably the surf. I've surfed for a long time before, and it's been a decade since I've been out in the water. So to be in a great place with an awesome surf break, where I got, you know, several chances to go out and sort of rekindle my, you know, relationship with the ocean. It's always been kind of almost a spiritual place for me, just being in the water. So to be able to come and do that, you know, here especially with other people, that honestly I had no idea what to expect. I knew that, you know, Greg had come down here a bunch of times, and that's how I got plugged in, was through him. But right up until I think the day before, I didn't even know that there would be anybody else here that I knew. For all I knew, I was gonna, you know, come back missing a kidney or something. I just had no clue what to expect. But you know, I found out, you know, that Kenny was going to be here too, and of course, it's a couple guys that I'd served with, and so I figured if they were part of it, it couldn't be all bad, and yeah, so just might as well just take some time off and go do it. Yeah, so you know, my understanding of it pretty much comes from that video that we watched. And it's, you know, I get that it's something that Kelly started to remember his brother, who, you know, unfortunately, you know, took his own life, and it was something that, you know, he wanted to actually put something together that could potentially do something, you know, on the front end, right? Because, you know, the places for veterans to go get help, especially if you're going through like the normal channels of the VA and whatnot, it's kind of ridiculous, the response times that they get, and the wait that they have to go through to get help once you've already gone through everything and decided that you're actually, you know, wanting help and ready to ask for it. So yeah, that's my understanding, is that he put it together to try to, you know, obviously with the other partners that you know, everybody has here, but that he put it together to try to reach out and do something about, you know, veteran suicide, you know, before it's too late. Well, I think that there's probably going to be some things that I don't even realize, but one of the things that I'm definitely going to try to take with me is the slower pace of life down here. It's just not as go, and I understand that our lifestyles, you know, back in the hustle and bustle of having, you know, children and, you know, families and school and work and all that, don't necessarily lend to, you know, having a lot of small moments, a lot of downtime with the people you care about. But I do believe that there is time that can be made to make sure that we're taking, you know, important time with each other. And you know, I've already been thinking about how to try to build some more of that into our days. For us, it'll probably be in the evenings. We already do a decent job of getting together and spending time on the weekends, but I think it needs to happen more, you know, more often and more regularly. And that sort of slowness of the lifestyle here was a big highlight and takeaway for me. Well, you know, I would say that I didn't necessarily think of myself as somebody who quote unquote needed this trip, if that makes sense. Um, and in fact, I even had a conversation with Greg over Messenger about, you know, I was like, I've been out of I've been out of the service for a long time. I only did 4 years. You know, I don't really know if I'm your target demographic, frankly, you know. And he's just like, you are the demographic, you know. And I think that, you know, whatever your experiences are, you know, if you're here and taking part of this, obviously you're a vet, so your experiences are important and what you can contribute to this matters. Um, so whether you think you need it or not, or whether maybe, you know, if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you think you're too far gone, or anywhere in the middle, you know, I think it's amazing to come here and have cool things to do, and have people that, you know, are around you that get what you've been through and what you're going through, and yeah, I would recommend it to anybody.
Yeah, okay, hello everybody. My name is Jose Gabriel de Nojian. Everybody calls me Gabe. I spent 27 years in the Army in a lot of different units, most of them infantry and airborne units. I retired in 2013, and then I became a high school teacher for 10 years. I'm married, and I have one son who lives in heaven. And I was invited down here by my friend Greg Baker, who I served with went to Ranger School with in 1990, and was in several different units with him over a period of some years. So, yeah, you know, yeah, this was an amazing trip for me. It was real. It was an amazing trip. I like to think in terms of threes. I think a lot of people come here for the first reason people come to Nicaragua is for surfing and the fishing and the excitement. Like people go to Costa Rica, and so people come here for selfish, I think not selfish reasons, but for reasons to have fun. And there's a group of people here that like to come and live here, and some of them have altruistic objectives. Some of them here, I think what draws them here is the surf, of course, and everything. But what blew me away is that the people that live here, how they really make an effort to it's not just about surfing and fishing and having fun, but also connecting with the people here, and it's a part of a community. And it's just, I haven't ran into anybody and had any type of like arguments or anything like that. It's just really, everybody here seems to be on that type of mindset in one way or another. It's kind of like a bunch of really cool hippies for the most part. So, yeah. That was the first thing that blew me away, and then just the beauty of it, everything, man. It was really amazing. Yeah, it was a really beautiful, eye-opening trip. One of my, I would say the three favorite things that we did here. I like to think in terms of threes. The first one was when we took a little trip to one of the little villages, to a group of real humble villagers or farmers. They actually farm rice in Arrozales. They have rice fields, and I was talking to the people there, and you could see that, you know, on their faces that they were very proud people, and they would rather have not accepted the help, you know, but they were grateful to have it because they had a really bad harvest this year. And that was really neat to really see how the people live out here, and actually be able to speak with them. And then, of course, this is the natural beauty. The surfing here was amazing, and the fishing here was amazing. And of course, the friends, man, all my friends. It was an amazing time. So, yeah, you know, I think anytime you travel somewhere, you learn something new. This was an eye opener for me. It's kind of like I was always putting things into perspective. Like a lot of times I dwell on the loss of my son. I have in the past, and the loss of fellow soldiers, and I go to dark places, but I don't stay there anymore. And trips like this help me stay in that place less and less every time. that I do it. And I meet people and I get to share my story and I get to hear their stories too. You know, everybody in this world has some type of, at least one huge problem in their life that they're dealing with, everybody. And what some type of grief or some type of pain, and being able to talk with these guys about their personal experiences and what they go through helped me to really appreciate my own situation, and I was happy to be able to help, I think, help others with the same issues that I have, if that makes sense. You know, I thought that 22 Shenanigans t-shirt, I was kind of clueless on it. I thought that was part of the Golden Dragons. I don't know. The organization to me is just a group that is really, really trying to help out veterans. Yeah, so the question was, I thought that was part of the unit. I didn't know what that was, the organization 22 Shenanigans. I just think it's a group that's really trying to help out people that that could really use something like this in their life to kind of put things in perspective. I have, me and Greg have already identified some people that we know that we really would like to have brought down here, but they're just not ready yet because their pain is so deep that they're not ready to do what they have to do to make that first step. So it far exceeded anything that I expected. I mean, when we got here, we were moving and grooving. I mean, we hit the ground. The next day we're surfing. The next day we're fishing. The next day we're riding motorcycles to volcanoes in the dark. You know, bouncy ferry rides, bouncy car rides. It was a blast, man. It was just an amazing experience. I really hope to come back. I could live here. I know I could. I don't know that my wife could, but you know, but it's a really, I wish the people of, well, I think the people of Nicaragua know how beautiful their country is. And I know there's a lot of poverty here, but I wish they could have the opportunity to go to the United States and see that, you know, they may be lacking, what they lack in money and richness, they really have in other way. They have a different type of richness here, and I don't know that they realize it, or maybe they do. I don't, you know, because the natural beauty here in the community and the way people help each other out is like something I haven't seen in many places. So I think that was the best thing about Nicaragua. You know, just to wrap it up in a nutshell, the people that come here, I think a lot of them, at first they come for the reasons that make them happy, the surfing and the fishing. But what really gets them grounded is the people here, because the people here love you, man. And it's not just about you having the American dollar or nothing like that. It's about, I think it's about, they really like them. They like Americans here. They like they also like to do the same things, the surfing and the fishing. And so there's a connection there too. And it's just really amazing to me. That's the best way I can explain it. I mean, it's a community. It's not just about, hey, I'm surfing in Nicaragua every day. It's not the most important thing that you guys are doing out here, surfing and fishing. You're actually helping people, and yeah, it's beautiful. That's the best way to sum it up, I think. Yeah. That was awesome. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.